Best Zepbound injection sites, and why Zepbound injection sites are could be your superpower, and they are for me with my tirzepatide weight loss. Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I am so pumped on today's episode to talk about how to make injection sites your superpower too. But first, I've lost over 93 pounds the last 21 months of being on GLP-1 medication. I started off on Mounjaro. Because of the Mounjaro shortage, moved to Zepbound. Because of the Zepbound shortage, moved to tirzepatide, and now back to Zepbound. The woman on the right, morbidly obese. The woman on the left is simply overweight. Because of my BMI, I am just but overweight and on the run to my 100-pound weight loss plus journey. So let's go ahead and dive in. I want you to stay till the end because I have 4 tips. The last one's going to be talking about how to buy 5 months for 5 months buyback essentially of when you're on the highest dose of Zepbound, 15 milligrams of getting to the highest dose. I have been on Zepbound 15 milligrams for a while. It's been a while. And so I can really speak with my experience, strength, and hope. As with all my videos, never medical advice. Talk to your own healthcare provider. Simply my experience, strength, and hope of what's worked really well for me and what hasn't. Brutal honesty here. Let's dive into number 1 of how Zepbound injection sites are my superpower and hopefully yours too. Now let's close our eyes and imagine you love your job. And if you don't love your job, just close your eyes and imagine. Pretend you really love your job. We'll work on that later, that job part later. But for now, let's close your eyes. And if you're retired, just go along. Maybe you have a family function, something important. And for me, I did this exact tip when I was on Oprah, the Shame, Blame, and Weight Loss Revolution back this spring. I was on the after show, which you can see on Roku. For that, I got to talk. I was at the very end of the after show for several minutes talking with Oprah. And on the actual show, my before and afters were used on that and got to work with Harpo Productions on that. Before I did the Oprah show, I did this hack, which is side effects. And with the side effects, I knew my injection site to take my injection in the site that has the least producing side effects for me. Now, I said at the beginning, what were the best injection sites? Well, the best injection sites are the one Eli Lilly tells us in our literature. It's the belly button, the thigh, and then the back of the upper arm. And those are the best ones. Those are the ones that the manufacturer, Eli Lilly, tells us to do. So with that though, I have on countessofshopping.com your free resource for 50 plus articles as of right now. And it's me, adding articles every day. Well, the count helps sometimes to post them, but I write them. And on there, one of them is a free tracker. It's a printable. I encourage you, get that for free. It's down in the description link below. Just click the ... more button here on YouTube and you can get that free tracker to track your time of day, your dose, your mood, your side effects, like tracking that data so you know for you, because your data is going to be different than mine. My best injection site is my back of my upper arm. My worst, excuse me, the injection site near my belly button on my stomach. How do I know that? Because I tracked it. How do I have that tracker? Because I used it, because I created it, because I did it. One of the people back 21 months ago, when I first started as a morbidly obese woman, now just air quote overweight. But when I first started, I wanted to have the data about these scary side effects, and they're not crazy scary. Per the Oprah show, when I was on there, the doctors on the show said that less than 1% of people experience the gnarly bad side effects like pancreatitis, appendicitis. There is a genetic family thyroid cancer. You need to talk to your healthcare provider about those to know, because it does less than 1%. That's still thousands of people when, statistically speaking. But for most of us, it's just these basic side effects. Imagine you had a big work presentation. We're visualizing. Like I did. I was going to Oprah. I flew across the country from Virginia, little old rural Virginia, over to LA to go film. You know what shot site I did to make sure I didn't have I didn't want to have blowout diarrhea with Oprah. No, ma'am, Pam. I did not want to have blowout constipation or nausea. I wanted to be smooth, svelte, and just feel good when talking with her. I injected the sucker in my belly button. Not my belly button, but you guys know what I mean. The one that's near your belly button and the injection sites, which Eli Lilly specifies. Because I knew my body would react and not having crazy diarrhea or like stomach issues, right? Because the most common side effects are gastrointestinal and fatigue. I do get Zepbound fatigue. I do, and I have other videos talking about that. So if you have a big work thing, this is how I use injection sites for my superpower. The week that I know, I go into my little Google Calendar and I don't do the back of my arm. Because the back of my arm, because I've tracked it, I can then not manipulate, that's not the right word, use to my advantage in a healthful way, simply by just following the directions of what Eli Lilly's given me, of not having as severe side effects, which is so helpful, so helpful. And then on weeks when I know that I can kind of push the gas a little bit more, that I don't have crazy feel, like this week is the Duke's birthday. Mama's got to be on point. I got to be on point for my baby for his birthday. We celebrate all week long. And so I don't want to have crazy side effects. So on those weeks, one, I use different injection sites. I don't do the back of my arm. Two, when I titrated up, now I've been at Zepbound 15 milligrams for a while. Okay, it's been a while. I cannot wait till the day, I pray, when retatrutide, like the Godzilla of the GLP-1 medications, it's 2 years plus getting to the marketplace. And also Eli Lilly is testing higher doses, but that's probably gonna be, I think, another 2 years. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I've heard. Word on the streets. So titrating up, if I was titrating up, the first week or 2 weeks, I would do, for me, near my belly button, because I know when I titrate up, I always got way more side effects. I felt way tireder. I had more gastrointestinal ones, diarrhea, nausea, or constipation. For me, it was a lock. Always, every week to 2 weeks after I titrated up. I just knew that. And so that's my body, though, because I tracked it, which is why I go back to get my free tracker on countessofshopping.com, my gift to you. You can print it off, or you can take, in my free encouragement group, someone created a spreadsheet that you can use. You can join my free group. That's also listed down below. Just make sure you answer all the questions to get into the group. But that's why this injection site thing is so important, because you can use it to your advantage, right? Like, we don't have to be bumps on the log. We don't have to be passive about this. We can actually be somewhat in control. And I do fully recognize things I can control and things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. Things I can change, things I can't, the wisdom to know the difference. But I have that choice in which week where I'm putting that injection for me. And I want to encourage you to talk to your healthcare provider further, because again, this is never medical advice, simply my experience, strength, and hope. And I save the medical professionals for the professionals. I'm not going to pretend to be that at all, by any means. And so for me, having this side effect driving is helpful, because then I can plan the rest of my life around that too, quite frankly. And then on weeks also that I want to push the gas, that I know I'm like, this is the week I'm going to crank it. I'm going to try really, every week I'm obviously trying hard, and every day I'm clearly, for the most part, trying as best I can with changing my food, changing my physical activity, and changing my diet. That is within my control. But I can push on the gas more. I feel more empowered. I feel better to push on the gas. And I usually have more appetite suppression with that when I'm doing these different areas. And so that's my encouragement for you, is I want you to put yourself in the driver's seat and know your data. If you're just kind of flim-flamming it, for me, that's not how I roll. You do you, though, of course, like, no judgment on my part. Many people have asked, does the left side to the right side matter? I have not experienced any sort of differentiation on that through my own personal tracking. You tell me if that has been for you. If you're like, oh, the left sides work better. I haven't experienced that. Someone else said, and they had wanted me to track also with side effects, and I did. From my own experience, you do you, but taking my injection before I work out and after I work out and not working out, I had no difference. It meant not a hill of beans for me. I'm curious, though, if other people have that. I'm like, that's an interesting theory. It didn't do anything for me. That didn't matter. The actual site, and people have grilled me on this. Where's your scientific data? I have none. I have no scientific data on this. I think more is going to come out, and we're going to look back on my videos over the last 21 plus months. There's hundreds of them. And I'm be like, that chick was kind of right. I mean, I know I am. And I know that's my experience. Now, other people may not experience this at all, because your body's different, but I know a lot of people do. And in fact, other people tell me, they're like, Elizabeth, I took your advice. I started tracking with the injection site to make it my superpower. And they find out, like, the stomach for them is their superpower. For me, it's not. It's the worst. That is the worst. But it's not the worst, because I can use it, for example, on things when I'm on the Oprah show, or when I was on Good Morning America. That week I knew I was going to have other press and other things going on. I wanted to have an easier week physically, because I was going to be expelling so much energy for other stuff for work. So that's my encouragement for you. And you can insert, I love my work as a video marketing strategist. I love what I do. And so insert family, insert whatever else that you're passionate about, okay? Number 2, appetite suppression on there. Holy moly, I've talked quite a bit. Appetite suppression. We're going to talk about that, but I want to jump over also with your side effects with sleep, of that you have the narrative and control over some of this, some of it you don't. It just is. That Eli Lilly tells us there's these side effects for a reason. They tell us there's these side effects for a reason. And for me, my sleep got very whacked out. I know because my hormones got whacked out. My period cycle changed quite a bit. And with having sleep with my side effects, the biggest thing that I changed up, also in conjunction with my injection sites, was magnesium. I switched magnesiums from a other pill that I used to recommend. If you watch my other videos, I'm much bigger in the videos because I've lost so much weight. And I had recommended another magnesium. I don't recommend that magnesium anymore. It only had one type of magnesium. BIOPTIMIZERS actually has 7 types of magnesium in it with their magnesium breakthrough. I am obsessed with BIOPTIMIZERS because it changed my sleep. And what I was going to take out to show, I was going to show you what the pills look like. Okay, because they're not big at all. Some people get pill. Oh, this one's not open either. Some people get pill phobia, and I'll just open this one. They're not big at all, but they do also have a powder if that's easier for you. And again, for me, with having a good night's sleep, going back to making the injection sites my superpower. This is really funny. I'm trying to open this so just smoothly, and I feel like I look like Quasimodo. I'm like, let me just open it with me. It's very easy to open. I don't know why I'm making it so difficult. They're small pills is what I'm trying to show you. Is the pills are not, I know some people get hung up on pills. They do also have a powder supplement too with their magnesium breakthrough just in powder format. That one has 8 types of magnesium. The pill has 7. They're exceptional and amazing. And so with that, and I tracked it through my Oura Ring. I could see literally a change in my sleep. Like I have the data on that of how much this changed, because 70% of people are magnesium deficient. And so some of these things I thought were related to my Zepbound side effects, and they weren't. It was other stuff going on. So just FYI on that. Just FYI on that. So that was really, really helpful for me with BIOPTIMIZERS. So you can use the discount code QUEEN, QUEEN, linked also down in the description link below. If you want to take advantage of savings with that too. Their products are, I talk about them literally. If my grandmother was still alive, I would talk about them with her. I talk about them. We just had a family birthday party. I talked about it with everybody. I brought everybody a bottle. I'm like, this is so good. Like it has made such a difference for me for my sleep and for muscle recovery too. And so when we're talking about side effects, I would not be a good friend if I didn't share that with you. I feel like I would be a horrible friend. And I feel like a horrible friend because for many videos, I didn't share with you guys that there's actually also a magnesium breakthrough powder format too. So if you don't like taking pills, that is another option. I'm holding up fruit punch, the flavor fruit punch on there, but I like taking the pills, and I take 2 right before I go to bed. You can stair step higher than that. You can see my sleep interview talking more about that too. The next one on there is the appetite suppression with the injection sites. So we've got our sleep figured out because for me, it was a magnesium deficiency. We've got side effects sorted for the most part. And then the appetite suppression on this is the next one, is that when I know I have way more appetite suppression with doing the back of my arm, substantially more. I eat less, I have less calories, and therefore I have more weight loss when I do the back of my arm. It's crazy. I did so much testing of stomach, thigh, back of my arm, and it makes such a big difference for me. Doing the back of my arm with that appetite suppression. So when I'm mentally having challenges of thinking of old behaviors, and I've changed so much of that, I've shared so much of that of how much behaviors I have really worked hard to change on my healthy relationship with food, and I still have some ways to go, but for the most part, healed a lot with food. I can even track my food now without having, that used to make me binge eat. It doesn't anymore. I can track my food healthfully and normally where I feel healthy about it and not like guilt, shame, or condemnation. But the appetite suppression, that's the other big thing of using the injection sites as my superpower. It's been huge because then I know if I'm going to push the gas this week, if I'm going to have more weight loss this week, I'm going to just focus in on things I can change and things I can't. I'm going to focus in on where I'm going to put that Zepbound injection. And that is so helpful for me. And then on weeks when I know I want to eat more around the holidays, birthdays, or if we're going to a chef tasting thing. I want to eat at the chef tasting thing. I actually don't want to have appetite suppression. That's the time where I'm not going to feel guilty about it because it's the appropriate time to do so for me. And so, and on my weight loss journeys, I have pockets of where I push it and kind of where I pull back. And that's where I hear in who was it recently? It was Dr. Terry Dubrow. His wife was on Real Housewives of Orange County. He was talking about how he was on GLP-1 medication, and it made him really sad in the sense that he lost the joy of food. I don't have that problem. That's not my problem. And no judgment if that's your problem, because I don't have judgment on that. What I do to combat that, though, is I simply change my injection sites to when to push on the gas and when to pull back. So if I'm going to the chef tasting thing, I'm so excited. As a foodie, I'm like, I cannot wait. I'll be injecting in my stomach because I know I'm going to eat more. And I don't think that's a bad thing. And at the holiday times for Christmas for me and Thanksgiving for me, I'll be injecting in my stomach. And then on other times after that, the next week after, guess where I'll be injecting? The back of my arm. See, this is how I can use it as my superpower. You see what I'm saying? Like, injection sites don't have to be a bad thing, but you need to know your own data to be able to kind of maneuver like that. And that takes a hot second. That takes some time. So if you're just starting Zepbound, it's your first week or your first month of Zepbound, or you're on Zepbound 2.5 milligrams, you'll learn this if you choose to. And if you don't choose to, that's also cool too. Like, you do you. I have no judgment on that. The next thing that I want to share with that I think is important, this was the fourth tip, was about titrating up. About how at the beginning I said you can buy back 5 months at the highest dose. I say this all the time because it's one of my regrets. I got to Zepbound 15 milligrams too fast, in my opinion. In some ways it's a good thing, in some ways it's a bad thing, but now I'm stuck. I have nowhere else to go and I feel trapped. I wish I could titrate up. I wish. I pray. I cannot wait until there's a higher GLP-1 medication or a higher dose so I can. But this is important when titrating up. Right now we are in a Zepbound shortage. As of currently, Zepbound is taken off of the FDA shortage list. It's on there, but it's saying all doses are available, which they're not. The doses are not available. I'll use my I statements. In my opinion, I have not seen that to be true. I have seen that there is a shortage still going on, even though it's saying that they're fully available, which is, I wanted to use a naughty word, which is not accurate, factually accurate. There, I didn't say a naughty word. So the shortage is still going on. This is why it can be your superpower, because let's just go over here. If you start rotating and changing your injection sites, we start off with, these are doses, 2.5 milligrams, 5 milligrams of Zepbound, 7.5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, 12.5 milligrams. If we can extend staying on these, I'll use my I statements. If I could have extended my doses an extra month of being on these, and maybe for 2.5 milligrams, I didn't stay on for an extra month. Maybe it was Zepbound 5 milligrams, I was on for 2 months as opposed to that. But if I stayed on each month, that would buy me back 5 extra months before I got to the highest possible dose of Zepbound 15 milligrams. Which, by the way, if you guys saw my success interview, Zepbound, if you saw my success interview, we had a beautiful, beautiful viewer that I interviewed, Linda, talking about, she was on Zepbound 2.5 milligrams, the beginning dose, for months and months and months and months. She lost a ton of weight. Go watch that success interview. Click like and subscribe, and you can go over in my playlist and see it. But this is what I'm saying. You don't have to titrate up. You can still have success at these different doses, but the key hinge pin on there is we are still in a shortage. If you're in between one of these doses and you can't find one of them, would that not be helpful to be able to have extension, a little bit more control under your belt? And I say that figuratively and literally because I do love a good pun. By extending this, do you see the beat that I'm dropping? Are you picking up on the beats that I'm dropping? That if we change the injection site, if I can change my injection sites by rotating them, can that prolong for me staying on a dose? That for me would have bought me back 5 extra months feasibly if it was 1 month each dose, staying on longer by simply just changing the rotation. I did not change my rotation injections for the first 2 or 3 doses. It took me forever to get to the back of my arm. I was terrified. And it turned out to be the best thing for me. I would have wasted all of the amazing appetite suppression. I probably would have had way better results. If I had done the back of my arm at the earlier doses, I probably would have gotten a lot sicker than I did. And I didn't really get that sick, by the way, too. I just keeping it real. I'll take the diarrhea. I know some people can't handle that. One of my friends, she gets very nauseous. She's very nauseous. And I'm like, for me, I'm like, okay, roll on. Like, okay, you're nauseous and but for some people that's like devastating. She's like, I can't get out of bed. And so like everybody has different spectrums of their comfortability and their pain threshold and blah, 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 blah with it. And for some people it's legitimate. Like she's on Zofran, which is if you are very, very nauseous, talk to your healthcare provider about getting Zofran. It's prescription anti-nausea. That may be a beautiful thing for you. You know, like we all have different things you need to learn how to for yourself of what makes the best sense. And by the way, I wasn't trying to diss my friend who's really nauseous, but what I'm saying is perhaps if she changed her injection site, I haven't asked this question. So if she's watching, I love you. I'm asking you through my video anonymously, but have you changed your injection site? Because maybe that would help your side effects. If I had started with the back of my arm, I would have been really probably very sick, relatively speaking. Because I do get diarrhea. When I do the back of my arm, it's like a lock. It's a lock, which is why I was saying on the Oprah show, I did not want to be having diarrhea while I was sitting in that production studio all day long. No, ma'am, Pam. So this is where, so going back to the titrating up thing, buying back an extra, you guys understand about the 5 extra doses, is if I can stay each dose an extra month on that dose, it's going to buy me back from being at the highest thing and the highest dose. And also it's, for me, it teaches me by being somewhat stuck, I really have to work hard on learning new skills, new habits, and getting rid of old habits for my diet and for my food that I'm choices. Some people get triggered by that word diet. I mean like food choices, not like meal plan. And then also physical activity. So I want to encourage you guys. Sorry, I got something in my eyeball. This topic's so good, I'm blinded. I'm blinded. Is that by titrating up, preventing that, right? Like that can also help with a shortage because we are in a shortage right now. And having stacking the chips, so to speak, in your favor, I think is really important. And then also the highest dose thing is important too. So this little pretty guy's been rotated the whole time and I just noticed. So that for me is the biggest part. I hope that that's helpful for you because that for me, like that really is one of my secret sauces. When I'm like, oh, I know, I'm going to push it this week. Whenever I have a weight loss, you know where it comes from? Back of my arm. When you guys see that drop in my like titles where it's like, she went from 90 pounds down to 91 or 93 or whatever pounds down, it's because it's the back of my arm. Intentional by design. And I still rotate my injection sites because I don't want to do the back of my arm because I also don't know. I don't know, for some reason that scares me and I don't know why. And I don't know if just only using my arm, I don't know. That's why I rotate in the other sites. I should probably examine that more. But for example, like I said, I'm not going to be just doing the back of my arm because we're having this foodie thing coming up with the chef. And so I know for sure I'll be doing, and I also know that I get to practice what I've learned on those weeks of where I have less appetite suppression, right? It's not a test because I don't like that word test, but I feel like it's practicing the lessons that I'm learning. I get to practice more. And if it's harder, I stack the chips in my favor of when I want it to be harder. You see what I'm saying? So I hope that helps you. I hope that helps you, but you need to have your data. So use the countessofshopping.com, the link down below to get that free injection tracker. It's a printable. Print that sucker out, put it in your bathroom mirror, or put it in like a closet or wherever, or in your car. Someone's like, I put it in my glove compartment. I'm like, you are the sweetest thing ever. Put it wherever you want, in your pocketbook or whatever. Make sure if you do not have a magnesium breakthrough, as always, talk to your healthcare provider before getting any supplements, but this was a game changer for me. BIOPTIMIZERS magnesium breakthrough. I have the data on my Oura ring about my sleep. And now, more importantly, because I'm lifting, muscle recovery. And magnesium deficiency, I didn't realize how much that jacked with my sleep and hormones and all that stuff. And it has made a big difference for me too. So, and if you're constipated, I feel like I've talked about poop quite a bit. So I'm going to add one more poop. Who knew I'd talk about poop so much the last 21 plus months, but it really does help if you're constipated. So use the discount code QUEEN to get an extra 10% off. Sweet friends, your question of the day, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? And your emoji of the day is we're going to do the number 3. 1, 2, 3, because we're talking about 3 injection sites. 1, 2, 3. So the emoji of the day is 3. And if you're new here and you're like, what is the emoji of the day? It tells me that you got this far in the video. It helps me to get to know you better because I truly do care. And if your name pops up every video, I get to know you. And 3, I'll pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought. So, because this is an encouraging space. At least I try it to be. I really do try to make this super encouraging. I try. Honey, she is working. Sweet friends, I love you guys so much. Go visit BIOPTIMIZERS and check out, by the way, their protein breakthrough. Obsessed. I've been making my protein pudding with it. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Love ya.